On the way as powerful storms tear apart. Misery marching into the Capitol. Lightning strikes. Air Force One splashing down. A tornado tearing up homes, sending this trampoline flying. Plus millions in the path of that snowstorm barreling down on the Midwest.
Quarantine, the desperate attempt to contain a record-breaking measles epidemic.
I actually had a class with the student who was contagious.
Over 900 students ordered into isolation, and the president's plea.
Breaking news in Sri Lanka, 15 people killed in a raid in the search for suspects in the Easter Sunday bombings. What authorities found as we see chilling new video of a suspected bomber moments before the blast. The new warnings from the State Department.
Drive-through explosion. This truck erupting into flames, sending a man running for safety. What police say may have caused that truck to blow.
And Royal Baby Watch, the wait for baby Sussex. Royal postings sending fans into a frenzy. Could they hold any clues to delivery day?
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Well, good morning. Are you waiting for the baby?
I am waiting for the baby with bated breath. Bated breath.
The Baby Watch is stunning everybody.
I knew we were going to talk about that. I was just sitting here waiting to see what Eva would say. You spent the week over there. Are people really excited?
They are excited. You know, this is the thing with babies. Everyone knows this. They don't come just because you said they're going to come.
No, it's
true.
They kind of come when they want to come.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you check the baby registry. Dan's getting gift ideas in mind. Everybody needs a diaper genie.
Yeah, that's
top
true.
of the list.
Diapers are always, I feel like, a good gift because you use them.
Yeah. Not a great gift for the parents. Anyway, we're going to talk about the weather this morning. The calendar says, as far as I know, that it's late April. And as my understanding, that means it's spring. But try to tell that to nearly 15 million people in the Midwest.
Take a look at this map. This actually hurts me to say this. Major cities such as Chicago and Milwaukee on alert, perhaps looking at 6 inches of snow for Chicago. It could be the latest spring snow in nearly 30 years.
Amazing. Meanwhile, people on the East Coast cleaning up after a damaging bout of severe weather there. Rob is here with the very latest. Rob, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Whit. So let's talk about these two storms. First one, the one that hit the East Coast, over 100 storm reports yesterday. We'll take you to Virginia. This is Mineral, Virginia, where winds gusting to 50, 60 miles per hour there, knocking down trees, taking out power lines, and doing some damage. In the D.C. area, this time lapse, you can see how the front came through with blinding rain and some gusty winds there right around the rush hour, 5, 6 o'clock, and then clearing out quite quickly. So that's the good news. But in the west, we also have a lot of wind energy with this next system. Look closely at this flying debris swirling about.
A tornado.
You will see a trampoline go, there he goes. Taken off by an EF0 tornado, confirmed at 80 miles an hour. So a little bit of damage, not horrifying, but it gives you an idea of just how much energy is with this next system. This one we're still dealing with. That's going to exit here in the next few hours. But the next one coming into the plains now that has wind energy, has moisture. And when you see pinks and purples on the maps, you see it in winter. Now we're seeing it here in the middle of spring. Winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories are in effect. We've got rain turning to snow across parts of South Dakota, southern parts of Minnesota as well, in through Iowa and southern Wisconsin, Mason City, just east of Minneapolis, getting toward Madison, Milwaukee. That's really the core of where the heaviest snow is going to be. Chicago, you're going to see some snow with this as well. The White Sox game could be affected by this later on today. And 2 to 6 inches generally, that's a pretty good swath of it. And getting up into parts of Cleveland, Buffalo, western New York, the Finger Lakes during the morning hours tomorrow could see several inches of snow as well. And then eventually exiting the Northeast, the major cities won't see much in the way of snow. It'll be rainy and windy. It's going to be a lot of wind with this. Also, we'll talk more about it a little bit later in the program. Eva, over to you.
All right, thanks, Rob. Now to health officials scrambling to contain one of the most contagious viruses in the world, expanding a mass quarantine in California for hundreds of students and staff at 2 universities who may have been exposed to measles. ABC's Maggie Rulli is at UCLA with the latest. Good morning, Maggie.
Well, Eva, here at UCLA, this quarantine all comes down to one student who authorities say had measles and came to classes here on campus. But the big fear is that one student could infect hundreds.
This morning, California is under one of its largest quarantine orders in state history, fighting to keep the infectious disease under control.
One person with a confirmed measles case can expose thousands of people.
Over 1,000 students and staff were ordered into isolation at both UCLA and Cal State LA after the CDC confirmed a measles outbreak. An airborne disease, the virus can survive for hours after an infected person passes through an area.
I actually had a class with the student who was contagious, and the school needed my records as soon as possible.
With a combined student body of over 65,000 between the campuses, an unvaccinated person exposed has a 90% chance of catching it. With a rise in measles nationwide, doctors reporting nearly 700 cases across 22 states this year alone.
This is something that we have to put in context historically and medically. Most healthcare providers have never seen a case of measles since it was considered eradicated in the U.S. back in 2000.
Due in part to the misinformation about the safety of vaccines. The president, once tweeting in support of anti-vaxxers, is now weighing in on the national health crisis.
They have to get the shot. The vaccinations are so important. This is really going around now. They have to get their shots.
Officials say those quarantined will be held for 24 to 48 hours until they can prove their immunity. But guys, if they can't, they could be held for up to a week. Dan?
Maggie Rulli reporting in from California. Maggie, thank you. We're going to move on now to the breaking news overnight overseas in the investigation into the Easter Sunday terror attacks, raids in Sri Lanka ending in shootouts, as we are starting to see new images now of a suspected bomber moments before one of those deadly blasts. ABC's Julia McFarlane is in our London bureau with more. Julia, good morning to you.
Good morning, Dan. That's right. Those new images surfacing of the suspects capturing the moments before the attacks unfolded. That's as security forces carried out a dramatic overnight raid in the east of the country. This morning, new surveillance images of the suspected bombers in Sri Lanka, moments before the Easter attacks that left hundreds dead at several churches and luxury hotels. Then these shocking images, the aftermath of an explosion at one of the luxury hotels that was targeted. Fears running high in Sri Lanka. There could be more attacks. A military raid at a home linked to the suicide bombings, turning deadly Friday. At least 15 people killed, including several children. Authorities saying Islamist militants set off bombs and opened fire at security forces during the raid that began Friday night. By morning, soldiers guarded the site of the raid, labeling evidence in what authorities claim was a bomb-making factory. Security forces cataloguing alleged chemicals and explosive materials, along with the thousands of metal balls intended to be packed into the bombs as shrapnel. In the daylight, security forces sweeping homes in the cordoned-off area, looking for more bomb-making materials. Also this morning, the U.S. State Department raising the travel advisory, warning U.S. citizens to reconsider traveling to Sri Lanka. Well, the president speaking yesterday said that more than 70 people have now been arrested in connection with the attacks and that more than 130 people are suspected of having links to ISIS in the country. This tragedy has really exposed the worrying penetration the group has made in Sri Lanka. Whit?
All right, Julia McFarlane in London for us. Thank you. To politics now, President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden both fighting off criticisms from their past as the presidential race heats up.
ABC's White House correspondent Tara Palmieri joins us now from the North Lawn with more. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning, Eva. Joe Biden entered the race just 3 days ago, but he enters ahead of the pack. And President Trump says that he can beat him easily, although sources on his campaign tell me that he sees him as a real threat and someone who can take those Rust Belt voters back.
Overnight, President Trump appealing to 2020 voters in a campaign-style speech. At the NRA vowing to protect the right to bear arms.
I promise to defend the Second Amendment rights of every American, and I always will. I'll never let you down.
Trump taking aim at Joe Biden, who joined the growing field of 2020 candidates this week as a frontrunner.
Mr. President, how do you beat Joe Biden? I think we beat him easily.
Both men in their mid-70s, but Trump taking shots at Biden's energy level, touting his own health.
How old is too old to be president? Well, I just feel like a young man. I'm so young. I can't believe it.
The president also doubling down on his response to the deadly violence in Charlottesville after Biden called Trump's response a threat to the nation in his campaign launch video.
very fine people on both sides?
Mr. President, do you still think there were very fine people on both sides in Charlottesville?
Oh, I've answered that question, and if you look at what I said, you will see that that question was answered perfectly. And I was talking about people that went because they felt very strongly about the monument to Robert E. Lee, a great general.
Meanwhile, Biden, on the second day of his campaign, confronted with his past. Asked about his role in the 1991 Anita Hill Clarence Thomas hearings, an issue nearly 3 decades old, revived during the Me Too era.
I don't know why it took you so long to call her. I wish it had happened earlier.
Well, I tell you what the deal was. What I didn't want to do, and I didn't want to, quote, invade her space.
Biden has been criticized for allowing an all-male committee to discredit Hill.
Can you tell the committee what was the most embarrassing of all the incidences that you have alleged?
Biden reached out to Hill just weeks before he announced his intention to run. But she said the call left her deeply unsatisfied.
You know, I think what she wants you to say is, I'm sorry for the way I treated you, not for the way you were treated. I think that might be closer.
Well, but I'm sorry the way she got treated. In terms of, I never heard say, if you go back and look what I said and didn't say, I don't think I treated her badly.
Joe Biden comes out of the gate raising more money than the other 2020 candidates, $6.3 million in 24 hours. But there are still grave concerns at the FBI about election meddling in 2020. FBI Director Chris Wray told the troops at the FBI that he is still very much concerned about it, and he is putting more resources, analysts, and agents to focus on Russian meddling in 2020, Dan.
Tara Palmieri, thank you very much. A lot to talk about this morning, so let's bring in our ringer, ABC News Chief Political Analyst Matthew Dowd. Matt, you just heard Tara talking about Russia, so let me ask you a question about the Russia investigation. We've got new numbers this morning from the new ABC News Washington Post poll. The first number, 58% say they believe the president lied to the public about matters the special counsel investigated. The second number, only 37% say Congress should impeach him. So to your eyes, is there a disconnect here?
No, I don't think there's a disconnect. I think part of what's happened is at this moment in time, the public has baked in the president's dishonesty. They've watched it happen so often, and from really since the campaign about how many misstatements he's made and actual lies that he's said, they've actually baked it in. And so they haven't transitioned from here's the guy who we know who isn't honest to impeach him. The second part of it is they want more information. The public needs more information, which is one of the reasons why I think the House wants to hold some hearings to see if there's other information. And the third thing, Dan, to keep in mind from a sense of history is the president's impeachment numbers today, the number of people say impeach him, is twice as large as it was for Nixon before the impeachment hearing started. And the president's approval rating today is lower than when Richard Nixon's were prior to impeachment hearing. So it's not a disconnect. I think the public's just ready for some more information.
And they will probably get that further information because the Democrats say they're going to hold more hearings. But let me talk about the Democrats now and the Democrats running for president, including Joe Biden. Tara Palmieri talked a lot about Joe Biden in her piece. He seems to continue to be struggling with this Anita Hill story. You have personally advised many politicians over the course of your career. If they're going to issue an apology for something, instead of saying, I'm sorry this happened to you, or I'm sorry you feel this way, why not simply say, I am sorry for what I did?
It's a great question. I mean, as all of us know, in any relationship, if you do an I'm sorry as I'm sorry your feelings were hurt, the other person never accepts that apology. They want you to take responsibility for your actions in this. I think most politicians, and I have always advised them, think that apologizing is a sign of weakness. The American public thinks apologizing for what you may have done in the past is a sign of strength. We see a president today never apologize. Joe Biden would be better to be clear about his apology to Anita Hill.
Matthew Dowd, we always appreciate your analysis on a Saturday morning. And a quick note here, our own Robin Roberts has an exclusive interview with Joe Biden and his wife, Dr. Jill Biden, which will air right here on GMA on Tuesday.
All right, thanks, Dan. Well, the Varsity Blues scandal is now stretching to China. Some families there are said to have paid millions to get their kids into top U.S. colleges. ABC's Stephanie Ramos joins us this morning with more. Good morning, Stephanie.
Eva, good morning. While actress Lori Loughlin and her husband maintain they are innocent of the charges against them in the college admissions scandal, we're now learning families from China are alleged to have been the highest paying clients trying to get their wealthy children into top U.S. universities. Rick Singer, who ran the college counseling service, pleaded guilty to helping students get into top schools either by cheating on the SATs or ACTs by falsely claiming some of the applicants were student athletes. One Chinese family, we've learned, allegedly paid Singer $6.5 million. Another Chinese student's family allegedly paid Singer $1.2 million to get their daughter into Yale University. That's according to court documents. Right now, more than 50 people, including notable CEOs and actresses like Loughlin and Felicity Huffman, were clients of Singer and are facing criminal charges. Eva.
Well, Stephanie, are schools doing anything to change their admission policies in the wake of the scandal?
They are. So USC says they are changing their policy. USC's interim president sent out a letter Wednesday saying they're taking steps to review the admissions process for prospective student athletes, a multi-layer review of those students' applications. Eva?
All right, Stephanie Ramos in Washington for us. Thank you.
Yeah, they're talking about even auditing athletic rosters at USC to make sure that athletes do plan on actually competing and playing in their sport. So a lot of changes ahead. Another story that we're following this morning, police in California revealing that the Army vet accused of intentionally driving into a crowd in Sunnyvale allegedly targeted victims based on religion, believing they were Muslims. Isaiah Peoples is charged with attempted murder for allegedly injuring 8 people, including children, with his car. His attorney says he suffers from PTSD. Police say he was on his way to a Bible class when he rammed that crowd.
We have video this morning of a jarring and dangerous scene at a fast food drive-thru. A truck exploding minutes after the driver pulled up to place an order. ABC's Marcia Gonzalez has more.
Those flames engulfing this pickup truck, burning out of control in an Arkansas Burger King drive-thru, just the start of this intense scene. Cell phones rolling as the truck suddenly explodes. This man sitting just feet away, jolted by the blast, running away as the flames rage high above the restaurant. Police in Beebe, Arkansas say it started when a drive-thru employee noticed a possible leak in a large propane tank in the bed of that truck and warned the driver.
He got out of the truck and he went back to check it. When it did, probably the static electricity, we're not sure, but something set off the flames in the truck.
The first officer on scene making sure everyone in the Burger King was safe, his dash cam rolling as he drives around the building, capturing that huge explosion. Firefighters quickly putting out the flames as the driver of that pickup truck was rushed to a hospital.
And this morning, we're still awaiting an update on that driver's condition. Police haven't said whether anyone else was hurt, but you have to imagine this could have been so much worse had that employee not been so observant and said something about that propane tank in the back of the truck.
Marcy, thank you very much. Nice to have you here in New York City.
Let's turn now to Rob. The weather, a little confused for us this morning. It's supposed to be spring, I thought.
I'm confused. You're confused. Mother Nature's confused. I got you. That's where we are right now. It's supposed to be spring, but we've got another winter storm that's bearing down on the Midwest here. And again, as mentioned, could be the earliest, likely to be the earliest snowfall or latest snowfall in Chicago in 30 years. 6+ inches of snow along this belt just north of Chicago, but we could see in southern parts of Minnesota or Wisconsin, we could see 5 to 10 inches of snow, and this sliver gets up towards Buffalo, New York as well. Wind with this as well. We talked about that. Winds gusting between 25 to maybe as much as 40 miles an hour over the next 24 hours. 34 mile-per-hour winds there in Cincinnati overnight tonight, and then this gets towards the East Coast. It's a breezy day today. Winds will calm down tonight, and then tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon, we'll see winds gust to 15 to 35 miles per hour. So it's a quick mover, but it is potent as far as a spring winter storm is concerned. Those are the weather headlines nationally. Time now for a look at your local forecast.
Hello and good morning, Washington. Meteorologist Alex Liggett. A much nicer day today with the full sunshine, but we have some gusty winds. A wind advisory for D.C. and points north and west till 3 o'clock this afternoon. Could see gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Now, temperatures will be a little bit cooler, only near the 70-degree mark. Overnight, there's a chance for a couple of showers. I think it'll be late after sunset. Continue into early tomorrow morning, but will diminish, I think, through the morning hours. For your Sunday, highs in the mid-70s under partly cloudy skies.
April, hey, what's going on?
I'll wrap it up for you, Rob.
Yeah, April 27th, and it's snowing. White Sox, Tigers could see snow on the field at the White Sox game tonight.
That's crazy.
It was a perfect forecast, Rob.
Yeah, nice job.
Fantastic. Thank you. Well,